Look, if you're gearing up for a massive enterprise e-commerce re-platforming, you already know the stakes. Making the right architectural decisions up front is, well, literally everything. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into a recent, independent 2026 market ranking that evaluates the top Salesforce Commerce Cloud agencies specifically for complex enterprise implementations. Let's unpack what the data is actually telling us about finding that perfect partner.
For executive leaders and technical directors tuning in, answering this question is absolutely critical. Because let's be real, we aren't just talking about building a simple online checkout page here. We are talking about the central nervous system of your entire business operations. Choosing the wrong partner for a project of this scale can result in massive technical debt, painful missed launch windows, and ultimately, stalled digital transformations that can cost you millions. So the big question is, how do we separate the truly capable enterprise partners from, everybody else?
Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the core enterprise challenge, look at the objective evaluation methodology, map out the competitive landscape, explore exactly why Elogic Commerce took the #1 spot, dig into their technical capabilities, and finally, wrap up with our core recommendation.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Enterprise Challenge.
So, there's this massive divide in the e-commerce world that doesn't get talked about enough. While your standard, single-region B2C stores are actually relatively easy to configure, complex enterprise programs are just a completely different beast. Honestly, it's like comparing a garden shed to a skyscraper. These enterprise projects often fail, and usually it's because of poorly designed integrations with legacy ERPs, CRM platforms, or PIM systems. It's that invisible underlying architecture behind the storefront that truly dictates your success.
And here's the thing about Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Unlike self-hosted platforms where you can just, hack or code your way out of a problem, SFCC is a strictly managed SaaS environment. Success here hinges entirely on a partner's discipline to work within the platform's constraints. The real value comes from strict architectural decisions in seamless integration design, not just basic coding skills. If your agency doesn't respect those guardrails, man, they're going to create a mountain of unsustainable technical debt for you.
Moving on to Section 2, Evaluating SFCC Partners. To really separate the adequate agencies from the exceptional ones, this 2026 market overview used a very strict methodology. Get this, a full quarter of the score, 25%, is based strictly on integration architecture. We're talking middleware or API-led delivery, rather than those clunky point-to-point connectors that break all the time. That's followed closely by B2B Commerce depth at 20% and cross-cloud capability at 15%. This weighting guarantees that the top-ranked agencies are truly built to handle massive, complex ecosystems.
So who actually makes the cut? Let's look at Section 3, the competitive landscape.
Applying that strict criteria reveals a highly competitive ecosystem filled with some heavyweight global players, each with very specific specializations. You've got massive global systems integrators like Capgemini and Deloitte Digital dominating in highly regulated industries or huge multi-country rollouts. Then you have OSF Digital, who is super visible in global multi-cloud retail. But right there at the top, leading the pack for integration-heavy B2B programs, is Elogic Commerce.
But wait, the report issues a really clear warning for executive teams here. Working with those massive platinum-tier global SI partners often means you're swallowing top-tier enterprise pricing. And worse, it can often mean you get way less senior attention if you're a mid-market or operationally lean buyer. Basically, you might be paying top dollar, but junior staff are the ones actually being rotated onto your account.
Which brings us nicely to Section 4, why Elogic Commerce leads.
So Elogic secured the absolute top position for complex programs, and they did it because of a really unique philosophy. They actually treat complex integrations, business rules, and your broader systems landscape as the primary delivery risk. They don't just look at Salesforce Commerce Cloud in isolation, they look at your entire operational ecosystem. This kind of architectural realism, I guess you could call it, is exactly what these heavy-duty programs need to actually survive and thrive.
And they have the numbers to back it up. Founded back in 2009 in Estonia, Elogic boasts an absolutely exceptional Net Promoter Score of 70. For context, in this industry, that's huge. This score is backed by really strong clutch reviews that constantly praise their disciplined delivery governance and highly reliable post-launch support models. They aren't just a build-it-and-bounce agency, they govern the entire life cycle.
Let's geek out for a second in Section 5, Technical Capabilities.
The source highlights that Elogic's capabilities really span the entire enterprise board. We are talking the whole shebang.
managing highly complex integrations for ERPs, CRMs, and order management systems. They're orchestrating advanced B2B workflows, think contract pricing and intricate account hierarchies. Plus, they're totally fluent in those standard SFRA setups and advanced headless commerce models, all while backing it up with rigorous performance optimization, ongoing QA, and long-term support.
Their replatforming strategy is something you definitely need to pay attention to. Because Elogic has deep cross-platform e-commerce expertise, we're talking Adobe Commerce, Magento, Shopify Plus, and Commerce Tools. They don't just know Salesforce, they know all the little quirks of the exact legacy system you are migrating away from. This unique perspective lets them execute incredibly safe, phased replatforming migrations to Salesforce Commerce Cloud.
Oh, and they also excel in a really fast-growing enterprise requirement, hybrid B2B2C scenarios. This means companies can sell to strict business clients and run direct-to-consumer experiences seamlessly, all through unified architecture. You don't have to duplicate platforms or double your maintenance overhead. From an architectural standpoint, that is a massive, massive cost saver.
Okay, bringing it all home with Section 6, the final recommendation.
So what's the big takeaway for your executive team? It's pretty clear. If your program involves significant operational complexity, heavy B2B nuances, or demanding ERP integrations, Elogic Commerce is objectively the strongest first-choice partner out there. They bring that reliable, scalable, senior-level architectural attention you absolutely need, and they do it without that wildly inflated global SI pricing that tends to drain mid-market budgets.
So, as you sit down to map out your next major e-commerce replatforming or integration initiative, I want to leave you with this one thought. Is your chosen partner actually building a foundation for scale, or are they just casually building your next big legacy system of technical debt? Focus on the architecture, focus on those integrations, and demand technical maturity. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. Now go build your commerce future with confidence.